Hey guys, are you ready to transform your mind so you can transform your life? Coach Myrna brings you one-on-one coaching and expert guests weekly to help you to grow. Because happiness is the progressive realization of a worthy goal.
Looking for personal growth? Let's do it.
Welcome back to the Transform Your Mind to Transform Your Life radio, podcast, and television show. I'm your host, life coach Myrna Young, and sitting in the guest chair today is Terry L. Fossum. Terry and I are going to be talking on the topic, Never Fail Again, why you failed at reaching your goals. Welcome, Terry.
Thanks so much, Myrna. Thanks so much for having me and for how many people you're helping out there get over their obstacles and their self-doubts and everything. And it's just really making a difference in the world. I appreciate that.
Well, thank you. And, it is my ministry, I call it now, helping people to reach their goals, transform their mind, live their best life right now. And people like yourself help me do it. I bring on guests that actually has a contribution. So thank you for your contribution today on something that's very important as setting goals. So let me give you guys a brief introduction. Terry L. Fossum has been highly successful in a myriad of industries. As an officer in the United States Air Force, he was the executive officer for an entire group of nuclear B-52 bombers during the Cold War and was named Officer of the Year at Fairchild Air Force Base. Following the Air Force, he ventured into marketing, where he became part of the top fraction of 1% of his entire industry in the world. He was asked to represent all of Boy Scouts of America in a survival reality primetime show on Fox Network and won. Next, he ventured into acting and won Best Supporting Actor and Fan Favorite at the 2021 Christian Film Festival. As an author, which is what we're going to be talking about today, his fourth book entitled The Oxcart Technique, Blueprint for Success became the #1 best-selling book. He's also a TEDx speaker. His TEDx and book is based on the Nobel Prize-winning science to goal setting. He holds a black belt in Taekwondo. It's an all-around successful guy here. He's a global adventurer with fun-filled treks, backpacking deep into the Arctic Circle, searching the mountains of Rwanda for the elusive silverback gorillas and more. He is a global philanthropist with projects in the U.S., Malawi, and Rwanda. He enjoys keynote speaking around the world and working with selective coaching clients. So, listen, the bio shows that he's successful. So he is an expert on goal setting and success. But Terry, one of the first things I want to ask you is, did you discover the Oxcart Technique before you became highly successful or after?
It's a perfect question, Myrna, because I discovered the technique at one of the lowest points of my entire life. A little bit of background for that, because you list all these accomplishments and these accolades, and those are things I've done, but they're not who I am. Who I am is two different things. And I hope everybody out there understands that. I'm a regular guy with a challenging background, like most of us have. Most of us have the things that we've gone through, that we're going through, the things that we think could hold us back that really shouldn't. In my case, my father was a poor sharecropper in South Dakota, and he got a job in literally the poorest city in the entire United States of America where I was raised, a small Texas-Mexico border town by the name of McAllen. And we've all heard of McAllen if you watch the news at all. That's where the border crossings are happening and the cartels coming across and kidnapping people and home. And don't get me wrong, I love my hometown. I really do. Great people, great food. But it can be a little rough growing up there sometimes with all the gangs and the drugs. In fact, I was on the wrong end of an assault rifle at age 14 in middle school in my old back alley. When I was in high school, my dad was killed Before he died, one of the neighbors came up to him and said, I just want to make sure you understand something. Those 3 boys' years, those 3 sons' years, not a single one of them's ever going to grow up to be anything.
Oh, wow.
See, that's my background. That's where I come from. Again, we all have challenges. A lot of people have challenges worse than mine, but we all have challenges. And folks, if you're looking at these movie stars, these celebrities, or these highly successful people and thinking everything's always been great and still is, you're wrong. You're wrong. They have challenges just like you do. You're not alone. It's not just you. But son, I wanted to get past all that. So I got into business, and I learned all the self-improvement, Myrna, that I could get my hands on, all the audios, all the books, all the seminars, everything I could cram in there, the goal setting, everything else. And I tried, and I failed. And I tried, and I failed, and I tried, and I tried, and I failed, and I failed. And I got to a point where I couldn't fail anymore. And I gave up. And I walked into the bathroom. Looked at myself in the mirror. I guess he's right. You're never going to grow up to be anything. You had a... Wait a minute. No, I refuse to let that, for the sake of the memory of my dad, if nothing else, I refuse to let that son of a gun be right. And Myrna, something clicked inside of me. Something happened. I took that pain. I took that failure, all those failures. I took all that self-doubt, and instead of letting it tear me down, I harnessed it. And I used it to build me up. And something happened. I got back in. I got back up. I brushed myself off. I still hit the same setbacks and the same obstacles and the same naysayers and the same no's and everything. But I did it from a different standpoint. Now it wasn't just some positive visualization, some carrot, something to go toward that I never believed would happen to a kid like me anyway. Now note, I was an adult. No, still a kid like me, right? Never believed that would happen. Not just something to go toward. But now I had something to go away from, something to push me, a stick. A negative visualization. I called it my failure scenario, never grow up to be anything. And that kicked me out of my comfort zone and into my conquer zone. I didn't realize why. I didn't realize the science behind it at that point. But what happened is I started succeeding. It started driving me in a way that I was never driven before. And it started working. But before I knew it, I had people coming up to me asking, Terry, what are you doing? I had rooms full of people that wanted to learn from me. And I started teaching them the Oxcart Technique, as I called it, both the carrot and the stick. The Oxcart, it's based on a parable. It's in the book. And they started working for them. And it's kind of interesting because 92% of the people who set goals fail. There's a reason why, and it seemed like we hit on something. So we started applying it to marriage, because marriage is a goal that 50% fail at, or at least it should be. And I started getting these emails. You just saved my marriage. Like, oh my gosh. There was an international weight loss coach in one of my audiences, and she freaked out and started teaching it to her weight loss clients. And I decided I wanted to put it in the book. But before I do that, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't full of it. There's enough books out there with pseudoscience, and it worked for me, but it's not going to work for you. But there's enough of that garbage out there. That information out there, right? So I started looking online. I wanted to research. Best place these days to research. Worst place sometimes too, but to research is online.
Mm-hmm.
So I started digging into this concept that was counterintuitive. I'd always heard just do positive visualization, just do that, because if you do anything else, the universe will take you towards that. I found out that's wrong. It couldn't be more wrong. Started reading about something called prospect theory. And as I'm sitting right here at my computer, reading this stuff, my mouth starts opening. My jaw starts dropping as I'm reading this. But I would have stared to my wife. I said, darling, I think I'm onto something here. I mean, something's huge. And of course, she believes in me more than I believe in myself. We all have people in our lives, God willing, like that.
Yeah.
If not, find them. But the more I read about this prospect theory, it said, beyond a shadow of a doubt, we'll do more to avoid pain than to go toward pleasure. Let me say it again. We'll do more to go away from pain than to go toward pleasure.
Yeah. Tony Robbins, that's one of his bumper stickers. Right.
Absolutely true.
Right.
And we associate pain with getting out of our comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
When they applied it to economics and won the Nobel Prize, I applied it to goal setting. I set up what I call the Oxcart Technique. And it all made sense. And again, it's worked for a lot of people. But if I'm going to be talking about science, I want to talk to scientists.
Mm-hmm.
Because true scientific research is not trying to find, prove that you're right. It's trying to prove you're wrong.
Okay.
So I found somebody that did their PhD dissertation on prospect theory, sent them all my notes, sent them everything. And I said, prove me wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. That's what I want to hear if it's true, because I don't want to go forward with this. He came back and said, Terry, you're dead on. He even wrote the introduction for my book.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the background. That's my story.
Okay. So, I'm still trying to put into context. Now, you started your bio talking about being an officer, in the Air Force. So did you started your success trek, before you went into Air Force, or give us some context about all the things that you did?
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate that. And it's funny, most people don't look into it close enough to realize that difference right there. The Oxcart Technique was actually after my time in the Air Force. So I was successful as an Air Force officer.
Oh.
And again, two reasons. Number one, I've got a really good attitude, and I've worked hard at it.
Okay.
And I work hard.
So that was after the bathroom thing, though. After the bathroom failure, you went into the Army.
Nope, it was the bathroom scene, as we could call it in the movies. Would have been after that, when I tried business and failed for years.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
And it's kind of funny, though, isn't it? The way our emotions work, we can be successful at some things. We can be doing all right. And yet then we hit those setbacks and we think of ourselves as a failure.
Yeah, because if you were, you're doing an executive officer in the Army, and you came out of there and then consider yourself a failure. Wow, that's interesting. That's actually pretty good. Because it happens all the time. Yes,
it does. That's exactly right. Yeah, he was Air Force, by the way, not Army, but Air Force. All the Army guys going in there, Air Force, that's not it. Yeah, no, it's Air Force. But no, you're absolutely right. We do that to ourselves. I must have been lucky in the Air Force, or whatever. I must have been lucky at whatever it was we were good at before. And now I'm a failure, complete failure. That's how I felt. And I know a lot of other people feel the same way at times.
Oh, yeah. One of my favorite memories as a kid was going camping. It began my love of nature and trees. As a mom, I want to share with my kids everything I loved about summertime and nature growing up. The parks, beaches, and camping trips. But when all these heat waves, wildfires, and storms, unnatural extreme weather events caused by fossil fuel pollution, the places we loved as kids are being threatened. The Science Moms are a nonpartisan group of scientists who are, like many of you, moms. Whether it's understanding the real cause of extreme weather or simply talking about it with friends and family, the Science Moms want you to know that a better future for our kids is possible. Human-made problems require human-made solutions, and no one is more equipped and motivated to lead the charge than our nation's millions of moms. Science shows us pollution is causing unnatural disasters that are making our world more dangerous. That's why I'm joining the millions of moms who are taking action to protect all we love. Join us at ScienceMoms.com. What if you could take a weekly shot to lose weight and keep it off? If you've heard of Ozempic or Wegovy, you've probably heard three things. They're effective, but they're expensive and they're hard to get. That's where Ro comes in. Through Ro, you can access prescription compounded GLP-1s with the same weight loss ingredients as brand name GLP-1s at a fraction of the cost. Ro has compounded GLP-1s in stock right now. You can get it in 1 to 4 days if you qualify. Ro members have support throughout the process. If eligible for medication, patients have access to their provider on demand for any questions. You can see if you qualify from the comfort of your own home. This means no schedule a doctor's appointment, no commute to the doctor's office, and no waiting rooms. Go right now to ro.co/transform. Membership starts at just $99 for your first month. Medication costs are separate. That's ro.co/transform. Please note, go to ro.co/safety for black box warnings and full safety information. Compounded medication is not required to and does not receive FDA review or approval. RX only. I'm reading a book right now where, it's a book. It's a biography of an actress that's very successful. And we're almost at the end of the book and she's still talking about, she's not good enough, a failure and all these different things, because I know it happens all the time. And it happens to, if you read, I read Michelle Obama's book, who was a successful attorney and still had the same feeling that she was not good enough and things like that. So I understand what you're saying. All right. So from the bathroom scene, we're going to put it in like a movie, and then maybe they write a movie about it. You decided that you were going to prove that person wrong that says you're never going to amount to anything. So you're saying that instead of working towards something, you were working to make sure you didn't go somewhere. Is that, I'm just trying to get the context for anybody.
That is exactly correct. And let me give you some fun examples that might help drive it home.
Okay.
I get in the wilderness all around the world. It's what I do. I'm just kind of weird that way. I'm often by myself. I know it's not smart. It's what I do for fun. Now, I've run across a lot of bears, and I can tell you, I can run pretty fast chasing a bear to get a good photograph of a bear. I've done it. I can run pretty fast and trying to chase that son of a bear. Mona, when I can run faster? When that bear is chasing me, I can run a lot faster at that moment in time.
Yeah, that's a good example. It's true. Yes.
That's the deal. We'll do more to avoid pain than to go toward pleasure.
Pleasure. That's a good one.
When we apply to
you run with skills you didn't even know you had.
You have no idea how much you just nailed it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what the fight or flight thing is all about. Your body just takes over and does it for you. So I understand what you said, but that's pretty good. You put it in the context of goals, because people are, when they think of the fight or flight, or they think of running away, the pain, pleasure, principle, they're not thinking of something proactive. You know what I mean? They're thinking of something reactive. So, all right, keep going. I'm getting it now. All right.
No, and that's perfect. And here's the important thing to know. And then a couple of fun examples if we want to get into that. Emotion, not fact, is the driver of all action. Let me say that again. Emotion, not fact, is the driver of all action. So let's talk about fact. We've all heard the story of a woman whose child is trapped under a car.
Yeah.
The fact is, she can't pick up that car. She can't do it. But the facts don't matter when emotion is involved, because she does it anyway. I've been in a similar circumstance. I was in my grandmother's house. I was in junior high. I was on the phone with a girl, because that's what you do in junior high. And I'm sitting there, and I look over, and the TV is glowing. Now, it's one of the back of the old days. It wasn't this flat screen TVs. Your TV was a piece of furniture. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, of course.
It was a piece of furniture. If there you go. It was huge. It was big. It's glowing. So I tell her, TV's glowing. That's weird. I turned it off. Well, it was off. Anyway, whatever. Go back chatting with her. I look back over. It's glowing more. It's on fire.
Oh my
Now,
goodness.
there's no way in the world this little kid, I'm small now, I was smaller then, is going to be able to pick up that huge, heavy piece of furniture and get it outside. Ain't going to happen.
Wow.
Next thing I know, it's outside. I've done it. Facts don't matter when emotion is involved.
Yeah.
But I didn't do it because I wanted to show off in front of that girl that was certainly a motivator. Wasn't enough. The fear of loss.
Safety. Yeah. Safety. Yes.
So there's an
Yes.
example.
If you didn't throw it outside, it would burn down the whole house.
That was the thing. I saw the curtains. I saw my little old grandmother sweeping the sidewalk outside, and that took over. It can drive us if we let it. If we use it, if we harness it, it can drive us. Prospect theory proved it. I just applied it to goal setting, and it's worked out really well.
Okay. So, all right. So now let's ask the question. All right. Before we go there, I'm still trying to put our conversation into context. So you found out, that when you were being chased, or when you found out that goal setting was different. So then you started researching to get the science behind it, and you, found Oxcart Technique, or is something that you developed?
It's something I developed. Yeah, absolutely. And I did it based on that failure, on what I was doing. And I said, okay, I need something that everybody can do. A specific steps that are easy, that are simple, but extremely powerful. And that's when I put this technique together into just 3 pieces of paper. That's all it is, 3 pieces of paper. But it's been called by Forrest Mims III, one of 50 best brains in science in the world, by Discover magazine, the most significant advancement in the science of goal setting in recent history.
Oh, wow. That's quite an accomplishment. I was thinking that it was because he said in your bio something about Nobel Prize-winning scientists. So I'm thinking it was someone else.
Yeah. Well, I'm never going to grow up to be anything. Who would think it would be me?
Wow. Right.
Well, then Forrest Mims III said that. Marshall Goldsmith, who's named one of the top 10 business minds in the world, I forget his exact quote, I don't have it in front of me, but he endorsed the technique. T. Harv Eker, who's been my hero in self-improvement, he wrote The Secrets of Millionaire Mind, endorsed it. The founder of BNI, the largest business networking group organization in the world, BNI, endorsed it. I'm like,
Okay.
Once again, my jaw has been on the ground throughout all of this stuff. When I'll tell you, it's true.
That's beautiful. And then before we go on to the technique itself, so then you use the technique for all the other things that you did, becoming 1% in the world, in Boy Scout America, winning, the acting. You used it there?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Here's the fun part. It does work for any goal if you do it right. So let's talk about the survival show, shall we?
Okay. Right.
Okay.
Yes, of course.
I didn't want to be on any survival show. I didn't ask to be on any show. They reached out to me. Okay. That's a whole story in itself. But when I found out I was going to be on a survival show, first of all, I found out I was going to be the oldest contestant on the entire show. My wife's laughing at me. She's like, oh my God, you're the talk. Oh, what's that? You're the token old guy, dude. That guy's really cute. They got that demographic represented, but he gonna die. Now,
You said them, huh?
grace of God, my friend, grace of God. So let's add in, I found out who my competitors were going to be. Special Forces guys, a Marine Scout sniper, a mercenary who helped take out Saddam Hussein, a 4th-degree ninja black belt who I'd seen on Naked and Afraid All-Stars, everything but the fuzzy parts, survival instructors. And who am I? I'm a fat old Scoutmaster. They wanted me, as an Eagle Scout, they wanted me to wear my Scoutmaster uniform on this show representing all the Boy Scouts of America. let's talk Oxcart Technique real quick here, shall we?
Yes, please.
Okay. Now, I know what I need to do. I need to get in much better shape than I'm in right now. I needed to go down to a personal trainer, go, you got a few weeks to transform me. Can you do it? He basically looks me up and down and goes, can you?
I like that one.
You do? So I was going to be paying 24/7. Paying 24/7. I needed to fly into the Amazon jungle and learn jungle survival and pick over 100 ticks off of me while I'm doing it. Okay. I wrote down the steps I needed to do to prepare for this show. Okay. They're all painful. They're all hard. Many of them are expensive. Okay. We all know the steps we need to do to reach our goal, to make our sales or to have a happy marriage or whatever, to lose the weight. We all know what to do, but emotion, not fact, is the driver of all action. So what's going to drive me? My success scenario. I won the show. I get $250,000. That's pretty cool,
Nice.
And my friends will think I'm cool. Okay, that's decent. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But to be perfectly honest with you, it ain't going to do it. Now, $250,000, huge blessing. Don't get me wrong. And I hesitate to say this because I don't want to come across like a jerk. It wasn't that much of a financial motivator for me. Did I say that okay?
Yeah, you said it okay. I mean, I'm thinking that, I can decide that I'm going to eat snails or something for $1 million, but I'm not going to do it. So I get you.
There you have it. There you have it. Perfect. Thank you for that.
There's a show like that. You know, these nasty things for money.
And that's why I never want to be on one of these shows. But so the success scenario, the carrot, something to go toward, the positive visualization is not going to be enough to get me to do the things I need to do. But you know what did? The entire Boy Scouts of America, an organization that is near and dear to my heart, will look bad if I screw up, if I look like an idiot. Not only will scouts and scouters around the world feel bad about that, but everybody else in the world will judge scouting by how bad I screw up. That's what got me.
Because you're representing them. You were their ambassador. Got you. All right. Got you. All right. Mm-hmm.
Pain more than pleasure will drive us, and especially getting out of the pain of the comfort zone. And for me, that was working out. I'm going to be in pain 24/7. I'm going to go into the Amazon jungle, which was not easy, and do survival. Pull 100 ticks on me, and all the time I'm going through those things. The passion, the motivation to get me to do them, the emotion wasn't, I want to show, make $250,000, which would be cool. Yeah, don't want to sound too like a jerk, and all that. But that didn't drive me. I will make scouting look bad. My failure scenario drove me. When I used the Oxcart technique, and by the way, you put all this down in writing. When I did that, that's what drove me to do the things. Now, it was still up to my partner. We had a partner, a novice, along with us. And it was still up to luck. It was still up to the grace of God. Let's put credit where credit's due. But there's no way in the world it would have happened if I hadn't used the Oxcart technique.
Okay. So what is the Oxcart technique?
I'm glad you
Plain in English. Plain English.
Yeah, plain English. Absolutely. And here's the cool thing, guys. First of all, let me say, on this show, we're going to give you the 30,000-foot, view of
high-level overview. Right, of course.
Yeah, the
right.
overview. There are some details that matter. And in the book, I give you examples. So when you're going, well, I don't know what I rate for a failure scenario or a success scenario, or there's examples for people of all different walks of life, all different goals. It's in there for you, okay? And you get lots of good information just straight up off my website. Go to thegoalsecret.com. I did a video for you. I did a downloadable mini ebook for you free. Thegoalsecret.com. You can go there. I see Myrna writing it down right now. Yes.
Right.
But here's the bottom line, and it's so stupidly simple, but so effective. Okay. The first thing you're going to do is painful if you do it right. Okay? You're going to write down, first of all, pick your singular goal, your one goal. Okay? Like, I'm going to succeed in direct sales. Okay, cool. Write down your failure scenario. Ooh, we can't do that. Yeah, you can. You're going to harness it. It's going to work for you. Write down your failure scenario. What happens if you don't reach your goal? If you don't take those daily actions? What if you don't succeed? For me, he was right. I'm never going to grow up to be anything. I'm going to be poor. Being rich didn't motivate me. Sorry, it didn't. I'm going to be poor. I'm not going to be able to take care of my spouse, my kids.
Yeah.
By the time you write that out, and write it with emotion, not facts, it's right. By the time you write that out and you read that, your subconscious should be like mine, screaming, ain't no way I'm going to let that happen. No way. I will do whatever it takes to make sure that doesn't happen. What does it take? The second piece of paper. Your bridge between failure to success. That's part of the parable as well. The daily actions that you know you need to take. You started before, but you kind of slacked off on in the past. Your comfort zone got in the way. Excuses, I don't know, whatever. Okay, that's what will keep that failure scenario from happening. Now you're driven to do it. So you write that out every day, a doable plan, and then the third piece of paper that's much more fun to write out than that first one. Your success scenario. How amazing it's going to feel when you stick to that plan, when you do those actions and you succeed. Problem, solution, format. You start off feeling terrible. You end up feeling great, just like any good movie, since we're talking about that.
Yeah. That's right. That's how they write the movie. That's very true.
When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Kim Kardashian's Skims or Justin Bieber's Drew House, you think about a great product or a cool brand with brilliant marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling and for shoppers buying simple. For millions of businesses, including Skims and Drew House, that business is Shopify. Shopify helps you do your thing however you cha-ching. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. So, if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business today and get the same checkout as Kim Kardashian's Skims. Sign up for $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/transform, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/transform to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/transform.
So, right. To me, that's your why. You know, a lot of people say, you know, that you're never going to be successful unless you know your why. And I'm not sure why this popped in my head, but there is one of the thought leaders, I'm not going to name him, but one of the thought leaders that I follow, his backstory is he always tells you how he lived in a trailer park and he was poor. And he does exactly the same thing that you just said, that he refused to be poor again, right? That's his scenario. Now he's very rich, but his thing is, I'm not going back there, right? And that's also a fear. A lot of rich people, even when they make it, just like you were successful in the army, but you didn't feel like a success. A lot of people, when they're rich and they have money in the bank, they're always worrying about losing it and going back there, going back to being poor, going back to having nothing. So I get it, but you know that a lot of people don't do the work. So what's the science in making people do the work?
Doing the simple steps first. You can do the write out your 3 pages. You can do that. You know, don't worry about anything else, but do that. And then tape them up on a piece on the wall where you can see them. Not in your drawer, not on your computer. No. Tape them up where, and everybody, you're used to this. Tape it up where you can see it. Okay? You can do that. Take that step. Now, Okay, cool. Tomorrow morning, you get up there and you read your failure scenario. Read it out loud. Feel it. And again, you've got to write it with emotion, not just, oh, I'll fail. No. What happens? Who's it going to influence? Who's it going to affect? Who will hurt because you didn't do it? Not just you, others. You read that out loud, and you tell me if that doesn't create emotion. First of all, if it didn't, you didn't do it right.
Right. I get you.
And then
you don't feel the pain, you didn't do it right. Got you. Got you.
100%
All right.
correct. I mean, my happy marriage failure scenario, I did an audiobook. I had to do several retakes because I couldn't get through it. That's good.
Because you're feeling it. Okay.
Because I'm
Got you.
feeling it. So then by the end of reading that, your subconscious should be screaming out, right? Okay, forget. I don't want that to happen. Okay. I get it. I'll do whatever it takes. Boom. Now, read your next steps. Again, that action plan's got to be doable. Okay? It's got to be doable. And then read that success scenario. You read it tomorrow morning. Do her up. Read it tomorrow morning. And by the way, again, details in the book you need to do. Details on the website you need to do. Now, read it in the morning. That should focus you throughout the day on actually doing those steps. And then read it at night also. And read that failure scenario. Take a look. Did I do them? When I'm doing the personal coaching, it's fun because I'll have people go, well, Terry, today was a little more of a left day, meaning towards their failure scenario. But don't worry. Tomorrow's going to be a right day. And that's okay. Allow yourself to screw up. We all do. But keep doing, just read those 3 things. That's it. Just read those. It will have an effect. There's zero question in my mind.
Okay. So that's good. Now, you said something a minute ago that, penetrated when you talk about your marriage and stuff like that, because that is usually very emotional because there's a lot of pain in losing someone you love, right? So that's very easy to put down your failure scenario. Well, what happened if your wife leaves you or your husband leaves you or dies or whatever? You can actually feel that. So then you, in the book, or if you want to share some of it now, what are some of the steps that someone that's listening that, let's say their failure scenario is they don't ever want to be alone again. They don't ever want to go back to, being alone, and they want to have this great marriage, and their success scenario is going on trips and, traveling the world with their spouse or whatever. What are some of the steps that they need to do? Let's put some context here.
I love it. Number 1, communicate. Do your action plan with your significant other. Because only then, you could be doing things you think are important to them. And they're not. They're not really that important. They're like, well, that's cool, but, it doesn't really matter to me. Also, you could be doing some things that really are important to them in a bad way, that they don't like. Or not doing some things you just didn't get it. I didn't know that was important to you, man. I'm sorry. So talk it over. The best is when you can do this together. In fact, when I was doing some personal coaching, and I don't get into details because when I do the personal coaching with people, it's very private. We had a couple come on. It was for business coaching. They knew the success that I had. They want that success too. And fantastic. Let's roll. As we're going through it, though, it became real obvious that wasn't going to happen until they worked on their relationship. That there's no way they were not going to be in business together. There's no chance. Okay. So what was beautiful about that, though, Myrna, is they communicated. They found out some things that one was doing that was tearing the other one apart, tearing them apart. They didn't know. They didn't get it. They didn't realize it. But when they worked on that plan together, and even the guy, he's this crusty guy. I don't do this kind of crap. That kind of guy. He told me that. Like, all right, cool. Let's just talk about this then. And within about an hour, he's got tears going down his face. And
you let him feel the failure scenario. Yep.
They worked on it together, and we probably saved another marriage. Now they can go on and do business. Then we can talk about business. But there's 3 things that are critical. 4 in my book, but I'll talk about the 3 and mention the other. Okay, sure, finance, because it affects your relationship. It affects your health. Your relationships, because it affects your finances, and it affects your health. And your health affects everything else, and spirituality to me as well. But so to me, when I work with people, I tell them, don't just go for that one myopic goal that, everybody wants to, I want to make $1 million. Okay, that's cool. You're not going to do it if your marriage is in trouble, probably, or if you really focus on just that, your marriage is going to be in trouble. Let's work on all three. You can do three things at once. Write out your financial Oxcart technique. And even if you're not making a lot of money, you can retire a millionaire. It's in the book. Okay. Write out your happy marriage or relationship Oxcart, work towards that as well. And also your health one. That's important as well, and affects the other ones as well. So what ends up happening is people change their entire lives. They're happier than they've ever been before. It takes work. If you don't do it, it won't work. Okay?
Right.
But it doesn't matter who you are, what your background is, or what's going on right now. You can do it.
Right. Yeah. Well, yes. I mean, I'm getting it. Yes. Anything that you want in life, you have to do the work. The reason a lot of people are just existing is because they're not doing the work. They just get up and roll with the punches. You know what I mean? They don't do any of the work. And in fact, Byron Katie's book called The Work, that's what, she's working on different things, but you've got to do the work, which is why I asked you if anybody is doing these steps. But I like what you say is that first you're going to tug at their emotions. You're going to let them realize, or they're going to realize what happens if they don't. It's just like your why. I mean, the person I was talking about always talks about what is your why? And that's how he puts it. What is his why? His why is he's never going to never want to go back to being poor, right? And he wants his children to not be in a situation that he was in, being evicted from, I think he talks about his mom got evicted from a trailer park. They haven't even place to live. So so that's your why. So I get it. So that's good.
And it goes from being why you want to, this is more powerful why, this is important, why you want to why you have to.
Have to, right.
That's a more powerful why. It's no longer, I'd really be nice, it'd be lovely, it'd be cool, buddies in uniform. No, I have to. Yes. Or much more powerful driver, much more powerful emotion.
Exactly. Why you have to, which is why they said shoulds and have and must and those things, is not should, that you have to, because this is going to be the consequences. And you're right. It's a powerful motivator when it's your children or your spouse or your parents or someone that you love that's on the other side of your why, right? It's not because you want to be, drive a Rolls Royce and that kind of thing. You know what I mean? You want to have this big house on the beach, it's.
Yeah, absolutely. It's what would happen to my family if I didn't succeed, and again, for me, the memory of my dad, that's something I'm right, because we know who he is. He still exists. God loves him, so do we. But he's wrong.
Right. Yeah, so that's good. All right. So one of the questions I have here is you say that 92% of everyone who sets a goal fail at reaching it. So what is the science there? I like using that word. What is the science behind people not reaching their goal? Or if I were to answer the question, are you saying that they don't reach their goal because they don't get their failure to their subconscious level, or there's something else?
Good, fantastic. And I'm all about science. My degree, actually, I got a degree in mechanical engineering. So I am a geek. I'm too much onto the science sometimes. That's why I try okay, Fossum, let it go, man. But no, absolutely. Most of what we've been talking about goal setting is either incomplete or completely wrong. Here's an example. You have probably heard about the Harvard goal setting study. Most of us have, who've been in the self-improvement world at all. Been subject to best-selling books, still taught from stages around the world, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And one of the things that the Harvard goal setting study said is that 100% of the people who wrote down their goals achieved them. 100% wrote down their goals. For the first step you need to do is write down your goals. Now, that would be fantastic if it was true.
That's not true. I would not believe that. It
The
helps.
Harvard goal-setting study never happened. Somebody made it up. Harvard confirmed it. It never happened. And all these #1 best-selling books on New York Times bestseller list. I've got the book, What They Didn't Teach You at Harvard Business School, somewhere right around here. It never happened, or it didn't happen at Yale or anywhere else. So that's wrong. Another thing, again, positive visualization is absolutely key. Don't get me wrong here. It's key. It's a critical component of the Oxcart technique. But in and of itself, it will not work. And when people are saying, okay, just think about it, and the universe will go to work making it happen for you.
Yeah, the law of attraction. I got it. Yes.
Imagine if you were the universe, and you've got these people going, okay, universe, hey, here's what I want. Get to work at it, will you? Get to work for it. I'm not going to work. I'm just going to think happy thoughts. How would you feel? The Lord helps those who help themselves, and so does the universe. Ain't nothing going to happen till you make it happen. Okay?
Okay.
So, again, positive visualization is good. It's part of your why you want it to happen, but not why it must happen, why it has to happen. It's only one piece, and as prospect theory taught us, it's not the most powerful piece, depending on the individual and the situation. So that's why 92% the 92 is a fact. On the Stanford University study, and actually specifically towards New Year's resolutions, but it carries the same concept, carries out throughout. 74% of diets fail, 50% of marriages fail, and on and on and on. These are just cold, hard facts. And there's a reason why. What we've been taught, what we've been trying, is it good enough, or more people would reach their goals? Bottom line.
Yeah. And what do you think of the SMART goal? SMART, specific, measurable,
I think it's fantastic.
attainable, whatever. Right, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a fantastic tool to use. Absolutely. In and of itself, it's not enough. But that being said, I think even applying the SMART concept when you're writing out your daily actions, I think is part of it. I think that's wonderful, because all too often, one of the things I have to work with people on is, they get excited like we all do. When they write out that daily action plan, they're not going to be able to stick to it,
Right.
So I tell them, start small, start easy. We could baby step it up, maybe. When you start reaching those goals, or those daily actions, those daily goals, we can step it up. But I think it's very important that it's within your own ability to make it happen, et cetera, all the SMART stuff. So you can apply the concept, just not in and of itself.
Okay.
Because again, you need the emotion. The emotion is everything. It's everything.
Okay. All right. So that's amazing. So we already touched on emotion, that, emotion is the elixir, as you want to say, in the Oxcart technique, because the emotion of what will happen if you fail and what will happen when you win, right? So do you want to touch on because that's a question I have here. Actually, the question I have here is, how does emotion set us up for failure? So let's touch on that. How can emotion make us fail?
I think if you focus on only the negative, I think that's the thing. If you forget that failure is temporary, that's all it is. Every single successful person on the face of the earth has failed and failed and failed. So I think using, to your question, understanding that if you are failing and failing, you have those negative emotions, you're failing. Oh my God, you're not a failure. You're succeeding, because the path to success is paved with failure. You're on the path to success if you're failing. That is the path. That's the paving stones. They're not stopping stones. They're stepping stones,
Yeah.
So turn that emotion around. So if you think, oh my God, I'm failing. I just failed again. Yes, I just failed again. Abraham Lincoln failed 1,000,000 times. Thomas Edison failed 1,000,000 times. Everybody failed 1,000,000 times. I just failed one more of my times. I'm on the path.
Yes. I read about Abraham Lincoln in my book. I have a book, and I talked about some people that have gone through a lot of challenges and succeeded. And Abraham Lincoln was one of them. I talked about Arnold Schwarzenegger in there. I talked about Sylvester Stallone. But these are all people, like you started off by saying that I think every successful person has a story. because it's a story that actually lights their fire. If you are just complacent and you don't have any kind of fire, you're not going to go anywhere. That's what I think you have to have. You have to have a reason, something that lights you up, right? And it's usually your childhood, your hard times, when you were starving, when you had no money. You know what I mean? You had no place to live. You know, living in that, you know, where the drugs and everything and the cartel and all that. I'm pretty sure, you know, your safety was in question most of the time. But yeah, that lights something up in you. All right. So, one last question I have here before we talk about your book, is you talk about your action plan. So what are some of the rules to developing an action plan? And when you have an action plan, is it something you do every day or you do one of these things per day?
Fantastic. Thanks for asking that. Your action plan is you're going to do them all every single day. You will do them every single day. Understanding that, again, either the failure scenario or the success scenario is your future. It's like a movie with two different endings. Only you're the superhero, and you have the power to decide which is the ending of the movie. And it's by doing those plans. The important thing to understand, though, is it's a fluid document. It's not an absolute. Okay, if it's not working, okay, revise it. If you think of other ways that you can please your spouse, or that you can, new technology comes out to help you make better sales, AI, whatever, you can go on there and keep working with that fluid document. If you're finding that you're not sticking to it, that means that either your failure scenario or your success scenario is not strong enough. Revise them. But it is important to know that every single day you will do those things, or you're going towards your failure scenario. If you do, you're going towards your success scenario.
Right.
That'll keep you sticking to it.
Okay. So what is the secret to, or the steps to developing your action plan? What is in the action plan?
Yeah, the action plan is the easiest part of all of it, to tell you the truth, because usually we know what to do to succeed. If you're in the sales world, they've trained you. You know what you're supposed to do, but other things get in the way, or the no's start to wear you down, or life gets in the way, or I don't have time, or, we all know what to do to lose weight. You know what to do to have a happy marriage. Talk to your spouse.
Okay, all right. So it's a fluid plan based on your scenario, not a universal step thing. Like, when you go to AA, they have a 12-step program that works for everybody. You're saying that this is fluid depending on what you want. Is that it?
Yeah, 100%. And in the book, I give examples of many, many different action plans and failure scenarios and success. Okay. So for the people who are going, man, I'm not sure if I could. It's in there. But I make the point, these are merely examples. They have to be you. All of it's got to be you.
Right.
Or it won't be your emotion. It won't be true emotion. It won't be your steps you need to take. So absolutely, it's got to be personalized, and it should be.
Okay. Yes. That's a good word. Personalized. Yes. Okay. So that's amazing. All right. So how can our listeners connect with you and pick up a copy of the Oxcart Technique?
Yeah, absolutely. You can go on Amazon, and the Oxcart Technique Blueprint for Success is up there. Make sure to look for my name. Funny, as soon as it hit #1 on Wall Street Journal, #1 on Amazon, #1 on Barnes & Noble, bestseller on USA Today.
Beautiful.
Oh, the copies started coming out. I was blown away. So look for the one with my name on it, and that'll get you there. It's got a picture of kind of an ox on there. So, you can do that. Also, go to thegoalsecret.com. Again, thegoalsecret.com. And there's another video that helps really explain things, a downloadable mini ebook, all sorts of good stuff for you on there. And if you want to learn about the coaching program for those who are curious, go like, wait a minute, you're part of the fractional 1%. Yeah, I want to do that too. We can talk.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's really good. Well, thank you for sending me my copy. I will definitely start reading and putting together my action steps and my action plan. I love this. I'm very goal oriented, but I don't always do the work because I know that you got to do the work. You know what I mean? I do a little bit of work I concentrate on my energy and I concentrate on positive thinking and things like that. But you don't I don't do the work, like all those steps you're talking about doing every day, things like that. So, that'd be great. Now, are you in social media at all, Terry?
Yeah, I am. I'm pretty much all over the place. Instagram, I should say that but Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm learning that that's a big one, so I'm going on that. Post a lot on Facebook. But I will also ask people, first of all, go to terrylfossum.com, terrylfossum.com. A lot of great stuff on there. And then everybody reach out to me. When you start doing this Oxcart technique, reach out to me. And Myrna, I'll ask you to do the same thing. Let me know how it's working for you. What keeps me going is when I get these emails from people that go, this is the difference you just made in my life. You just saved my marriage. I finally broke through on my sales business. That fuels me. That keeps me going. So please reach out to me.
Yeah, I know. It fuels a lot of people that do this work. They want to, see that it makes them feel really good. And, like it's all our ministry, all what we're put here to do. So you need that kind of feedback. So that's beautiful. Yeah, I'll reach out to you because I'm going to start working.
Outstanding.
Yeah. So, on social media, it's just your name, Terry L. Fossum.
Yeah, absolutely. Basically, if you just Google my name, you'll find me.
Yeah, but I mean, like your social media handles. Is it Terry L. Fossum?
Yeah, Terry L. Fossum. Sometimes some of them, and I'll admit I'm not great at that stuff. So sometimes T. L. Fossum, Terry L. Fossum.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, yeah. What I do is when when the show airs and the show notes, I link out to your book, I link out to your website, and I link out to your social media handles, and that's why I ask for it. But if you don't give it to me, then I'm pretty sure I can get it from your website because it's all.
You know what? There. But when we're done, I'll shoot it on over to you. I'll email it on over to you.
Okay, right, exactly. So I can put it in the notes. All right, Terry, this was an amazing conversation, a very important conversation because everybody has goals, whether they work at them or not, but every single person has goals. A lot of times they're like wish lists. Oh, I wish this, I wish that. But yeah, Terry has come on and he has told us the 3 simple steps that you can do: your failure scenario, your action plan, and your success scenario. And it's beautiful because of it's simple. But like he said, it works with the science because your subconscious mind is what rules most of the things that you do. And if you can penetrate your subconscious mind with, your happy thoughts and your pain, and, like he talked about, we all run from pain more than we run to pleasure. So one of the best things you can do is address your subconscious to feel the pain of failure. And not necessarily you, but what happened to your kids, or your parents, or whatever, the people that you love. So it's great. And, he's right. Trey give an example of, $250,000 of prize money was not the big motivator for him. I mean, some of you might think, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. It might be motivating for me. But chances are it'll be motivating for a brief moment. But then when you got to do the work, you might realize that it's not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, exactly. But if you feel the pain, you will do the work. You know what I mean? So I got you. It's very, very true. It's very, very true. Like I said, it's one of the things that neuro-linguistic programming, I think he calls it, Tony Robbins always talks about. We all, and run from pain except towards pleasure. So this has been a great conversation, Terry. Thank you so much for being on the show. I will have a transcript of my conversation with you on the show page, which is myhelps.us. And like I said before, I'll link out to, your website and your book and your social media handles so people can follow you. And yes, shoot me also your email if you want people to reach out to you. And I will put it in the show notes as well. So people can reach out to you, when they've achieved success. So, you give us about three things that this can work really for your marriage, your business success, and anything that you want that you can put it towards any goal that you have, right? Those are some of the ones that we can think of. Relationships and business is like the top two, right? And you mentioned health too, right? If you gotta, losing weight, you know what to do. And yeah, I mean, that's an easy one, right?
Yeah.
If you don't lose the weight, maybe you'll die early. And leave your kids, right? Or something like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll be there with your grandkids running around, and great grandkids will never know who you are, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Create the emotion.
Yes.
That's what will drive you.
Yes. Yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes. I love it. I can do that.
Yes, you can.
Yes, I can do that. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I bought into this. This is awesome.
Right on. I'm happy. I'm happy because it's going to make such a difference in your life and in your listeners' life. And that's what we're here for, isn't it?
Yes. I believe. Yes. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, listen, thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Transform Your Mind to Transform Your Life. This has been a very important conversation with Terry L. Fossum on reaching your goals, never failing again. That is our topic of our conversation today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Definitely go pick up a copy of Terry's book. Again, we just talked about they talk about a high level overview, 30,000 miles in the air, like the plane. In order to get the details, go pick up his book. And then if you want some more, then, tap in for coaching session. So I thank you guys for tuning in. Terry, thank you for being on the show. If you're watching this on YouTube, would love for you to, hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment. That's, whether you've tried it or you're encouraged by this conversation, then definitely leave a comment. If you're listening to this on iTunes, would love for you to subscribe as well, because I bring you quality guests like Terry every single week. So thanks again. Thanks, Terry. Until next time, namaste.